From Mamma Mia, welcome to The Spill, your daily pop culture fix. I'm Em Burnham.
And I'm Laura Brodnick.
And we have a very special episode today.
Yes, today's episode is a brutally honest review of Clueless. Okay, so obviously Clueless is one of the greatest movies ever created. Mm-hmm. And it came out 30 years ago. Well, technically last week, but we had a bit on. It came out 30 years ago in a week-long span. Now, I should say, the whole premise of Brutally Honest Reviews is that we do the review the week of release for a TV show or a movie. So I must apologize that we are late on this one. Mm-hmm. We should have done it 30 years ago, and that's on us.
That's on us, and we apologize. I'm so sorry for not being born yet.
Yes. We apologize because Emily wasn't born, I was a child, and that's on us.
That's on us.
We're going to take that hit.
And we're going to do better.
And so, but we thought this week, everyone is talking about the movie again. Everyone's writing think pieces and reviews. The cast is doing interviews. It's all over TikTok with people doing like their favorite memories of this movie, because this is a movie that has shaped multiple generations. And then we thought, we're not going to let our mistake of being not born and a child get in the way of a brutally honest review of one of the greatest movies ever.
No. So we're 30 years late, but it's going to be a good one.
And I should say, as we both I've watched this movie too many times to count. Do you remember the first time you watched it? Actually,
wait, I'm trying to. Okay, yes, I do actually remember.
Do you really?
Yes.
And like your reaction to it?
I was 13.
Oh, okay.
I think I was still a bit too young to fully understand.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of
the
Clueless.
Caveats.
Yeah.
Also, because teenagers in the 90s were way different to teenagers now. Like, I didn't understand a lot of like the sexual innuendos and like the smoking and the fashion. A lot of it I was very confused. But I remember illegally streaming it on my laptop that was like overheating on my like little desk in my bedroom, and I had my posters of like Jesse McCartney and the Jonas Brothers in the background. But I watched it because it was like the cool girl thing to do.
Yeah.
Like in high school, because I just started high school because I was in year 7, and all the older girls were like quoting Clueless, even though they were much too young to also be in that like zeitgeist time, but they were like quoting Clueless, and I was like, oh, cool girls watch Clueless, so and I have to watch Clueless.
Still the case today.
Still holds up till this day.
Yeah, because it's still a banger of a movie.
When was the first time you watched it?
Do you know what? I have no memory because
it's just always been there.
It's always been in my life.
Wow.
I think I watched it before I had proper consciousness. Like I watched it as a small child.
Maybe you did do it as a child, and then so you have actually no excuse to not do a Brutally Honest Review.
Yeah, exactly. No, I should have as a small child, and it came out in 1995. I should have got on the mic then, but no. My sister and I just watched it on a VHS tape over and over and over again, and it was just always there, like a Disney movie. I don't remember the first time I watched it. I don't remember not having it in my life, and it's so funny because we watched it so many times, and it's obviously not a kids movie, but my mum was okay with that, and my other sister's 6 years younger than us, and so she watched it with us, and her first day of like kindergarten, they said to everyone, get up and say something about your family, and Lucy started reciting the whole Clueless movie word for word.
What?
So inappropriate for kindy.
Lucy gets up and she's like, you're a virgin who can't drive.
She did. She did. She knew the whole movie, and needless to say, my mum got a call.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So that is how much this movie has meant to so many people. So we're going to get into it, and we're starting from the beginning. So the movie was created by Amy Heckerling, who
brilliant person. So she wrote and directed.
Yes, we owe that woman so much.
Yes.
So basically, she was kind of shaping teen movies at the time, and she was known for being able to basically deliver a big box office hit. So she'd previously done Fast Times at Ridgemont High, another iconic movie, wildly unsuitable for children that I grew up with.
She did
also
Look Who's Talking.
Yeah.
Which is such a wholesome, like completely
Kirstie Alley movie. Yeah. The woman's a genius.
Yeah.
So basically the studio what happens in Hollywood a lot of the time is like when you have a few, especially back in the day, a few big box office hits, you get like a bit of a blank check where they'll say to you, we want this particular movie, go and create it. So Amy Heckerling was kind of tasked with making a movie that would appeal to teenagers on a mass degree. And she had remembered reading the book book Emma by Jane Austen as a teenager.
Great book.
Because great book.
I actually gifted that book to my sister for her birthday this year.
Oh,
she
really?
turned
Has she not read it
22.
before?
She's never read it before, and I gave
She's
her
in
one of
for a
those like
treat.
limited edition covers.
Oh,
So I'm like, you
I
need
love
the
that.
classics. You have to know the classics.
Every gal has to read Emma.
It's
so
such a good book.
Clueless is some people say loosely adapted, and I guess it is because very different time periods, but it follows the plot pretty much beat for beat.
Yeah, I feel like if you know it, like the inspiration was from Emma, then you see it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you didn't know that, you don't really see it.
There's whole storylines and characters and relationships. It's pretty much Amy Heckerling took the
She did a She's a Man.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. This spawned a whole lot then of teenage adaptation of classic stories and like how 10 Things I Hate About You is Taming of the Shrew and all that sort of stuff. So it's based on Emma, follows it very closely. And as Amy Heckerling was writing the script, she would, every time she said an article came out with like, this is the new slang that teens are saying, she would save it so she could build up the script, because Clueless is really known for really creating a whole language that we still use today. Yeah. She also went and sat in on classes at like Beverly Hills High and stuff like that to see how the teens were talking. And as she was writing the script, she would jump on her treadmill and watch Aerosmith music videos. And that is where she saw Alicia Silverstone for the first time.
Is it Alicia?
Yes, it's Alicia.
Oh my God, I've been saying, you haven't been correcting me when I've been saying Alicia.
What do you say?
Alicia.
I think Alicia Silverstone would not be angry at you about that. It's okay. It's Alicia.
God, I feel like an idiot.
I'm glad you're finding out this moment.
Alicia
live on the mic.
Damn, now I have to change my whole like view of this movie. No, I'm not.
Okay, you're like, well, actually I'm out. So Amy was watching Aerosmith music videos to, get her through her exercise, and she kept seeing Alicia in them and just thinking, that's Cher. That's the lead of my movie. So when she turned the script into the studio, she turned in the script and she turned in a photo of Alicia Silverstone. And she said, so basically the movie, I love how she talks, basically the movie is these words and she says them. And that's it. That's the pitch. And that turned out to be correct.
I love that. I've gone into a full deep dive of Amy because I think she's absolutely brilliant. And I think she also paved the way for so many of our favorite like female directors like Greta and Emerald and stuff. And I think she's just like part of that crew in my head. And I love like hearing the passion behind the character for Cher, because what I really like about Cher as a character is that she's constantly happy and positive, and she never annoys you.
Yes.
And I feel like so many people try to have that typical woman trope of always being the ditzy, happy, fun, quirky, positive woman. And then it becomes so overdone that you just get pissed off at these characters. And she's a character that is so unique that you never get pissed off at her constantly being positive.
Exactly. And the thing is, in any other movie, she would kind of be the villain. Like the beautiful blonde popular girl at school with the money and the wardrobe and all that sort of stuff. Like usually that's the foil for the more kind of goofy, doesn't know she's beautiful, who gets a makeover kind of lead character in a teen movie. So to make her the lead, but also make her kind and lovable and also make you feel like so protective over her. And I feel like that is what Alicia Silverstone brought to the role, because she's also very anti like being a Hollywood star, being that cool girl. Like there's 64, I think it is, costume changes in the movie.
Just for her,
Yeah, just for her character, because the fashion is such a huge part of it.
It's all designer, and it was like a $200,000 budget just for the fashion. And they still went over budget and had to beg designers to let them borrow clothes.
Yeah, all the way through. They had to do them like favors, right?
They had to like in return like name drop them in the script. And the script became so iconic that like you don't even tell that it's actually a branded deal.
I know, that's why when she's getting mugged, he's like, get on the floor. She's like, sir, this isn't a liar.
And he's like, what is that? She's like, a really important designer.
Me as like a child in like a tiny town in North Queensland being like, a liar important. Yeah. I still
check, got it.
I still, every time I see any sort of a liar thing, I'm just like, I think of that line. It just works so well with her character. But Alicia talked about the fact that she kind of hated all the costume changes, and she hated like the glitz and glamour, and she was hated girls like Cher at school. And so she really tried to play her the opposite of that. And also she's like, I know the costumes are important and they help me get into the character, but it's not the vibe. The casting of this movie is elite, should we just say?
Elite. And what I love about this movie is that it was a lot of like taking chances on the cast. Like a lot of them, this was their breakout role. A big one was Brittany Murphy. And I feel like I feel like I can say this, like up until her unfortunate death when in her early 30s, she was the massive breakout star from the show, and she was so successful after that. She did like Uptown Girl, she did like massive blockbuster hits, and I think it's really hard to talk about this movie in like a light that doesn't also cover the darkness that happened in her life and after that, because it is such a sad story about what happened, especially that we don't actually know everything that's happened.
Yeah, but I also love, because a lot of the cast have been doing it. Well, they always get asked about this. They do so many interviews and they all speak really beautiful about Britney and say that that's how they want to remember her. So you and I did do an episode about her very tragic death. We'll link that in the show notes. That has all the info. I think now it's just really nice to focus on like her legacy from this movie. It's so interesting because obviously like Alicia was already cast when the movie went into production, so they would bring all the other cast members in to have chemistry reads with her to see if they would get the part. And when they were auditioning people for Ty, they saw all these actresses, and then Alicia Silverstone tells a story of she saw Brittany Murphy walk in the door that day, you know, one of her first big auditions, this like goofy grin on her face, his big doe eyes just like bounced into the room, and she said she whipped around to the producers and said, that's her. That's Ty. We don't even need to do the read. They did the read.
And Amy was like, I know.
Yeah. Everyone was like, we know.
we know. It's her.
So that was incredible casting. Can we talk about Paul Rudd for a second, who plays Josh?
Paul Rudd. The funny thing about Paul Rudd is that I think he was the only character in that whole movie that wore his own clothes.
Yeah, he did.
The budget stopped at him. He was just like,
I know.
He's pretty much Josh, essentially.
Yeah. It's so funny because Paul Rudd was also that little boy was just trying to like make it in Hollywood at the time. And he went and read for the part and heard nothing. And so he had a career crisis and he's like, I'm never going to be an actor. I don't know what to do. And then Amy called him and said, we're casting you. And when they met, he had shaved his head. So one of the reasons she loved him for the role is he had this big kind of like thick glossy hair.
Yeah. He's got great hair.
He's got great hair now, but in the movie he doesn't.
He does not.
And Amy's like, why would you do that? And he said, well, Amy, I didn't hear from you. I thought my career was over. And I was like, I've got to shake things up. And then he goes, and then I watched Forrest Gump. And you know how Forrest Gump shaves his head?
He had a Britney moment.
And so that's written into the script. There's that scene later on when Cher and Josh are sitting at the table and she's like, he makes a joke about her clothes and she says, well, you look like Forrest Gump. And he takes his cap off and that's his cap, his real cap.
Of course it is, because they had no budget. Well, their relationship is so fascinating because it's such a risky romantic relationship to play because they're ex-step siblings.
Yeah.
And production actually wanted to change that because they were like, this is weird, it's a bit incestuous. And then Amy said, well, my grandparents were ex-step siblings, so we're going to be doing this.
Amy, that's not the flex you think it is.
And it worked though. Like, I feel like you watch that movie, you get a bit weirded out, but then you're so badly rooting for both of these people to be together that you completely ignore all the problematic nature of their dynamic.
I think that they try and really drill home in the script, especially with Cher's dad, Mal, who that is a pitch perfect performance from him.
He scares me so much. Like, I love his character. He's like, Cher, what is that? It's a dress. Says who? Calvin Klein. Go put something on. And she's like, duh, I was just gonna.
Oh, she's like, so we got to Malibu this weekend. See those degenerates? Well, they are your parents. Also, it's so funny when you hear the cast talk about him, they're just like, he was actually the nicest actor they'd ever worked with and he was so lovely. But then you just picture going, Daddy, this is my friend Ty. Get out of my chair. But then also, like, they really go to lengths to show that, as Cher says, but you were barely even married to his mother and that was 5 years ago. Yeah. You divorced wives, not children, which is super lovely of him. We're just going to quote the whole movie. That's the thing. It's the most quotable movie.
It's so
I feel like
good.
if you said to me now, can you recite that movie from intro to end, I would kind of be able to do it.
Yeah. I
won't do it now, but give me a microphone one day.
The chemistry between the characters are so good because generally speaking, that like character of that dad would be so terrifying and so scary, and you would assume that his daughter would be so scared to like do wrong by him, and you just see scenes of him like yelling at her and she's just like fixing his tie.
Yeah.
It's so sweet. Like the love she has for everyone, that character, regardless of how they like her or not, is just done so well, which is why the tension between her and Ty. When we get to that part, we'll talk about more. But like it makes it so much bigger than what it really is.
Yeah, exactly. So I know we're moving around, but you guys have seen the movie. Yeah. But the setup of the character in this world is so incredible. So one is that like obviously it was the 90s, so it was very big then for like teenagers to be like really grungy looking. And that was also not just the aesthetic for teenagers. It was the aesthetic for like pop culture. And then Amy Heckerling wanted to kind of flip that on its nose and have these teenagers who lived in this glossy, unattainable world with their like designer outfits, going to school in heels, having their phones and their cars and stuff. And the first intro to that we have is not just that iconic scene where Cher goes to pick up Dion and they're both wearing the world's most incredible outfits.
Yeah.
But
and they're friends because everyone else is jealous of them.
Yeah. And they're both named after singers who now do infomercials. Justice for Cher, who hadn't had her big comeback Believe song yet. And also learning about like Cher, like the character Cher's kind of tragic backstory that her mother died during a fluke liposuction appointment.
Yeah, they try to make it really funny, and I was like, oh, as a child, I was like, oh.
I know. I guess that it's very kind of a Disney thing to have, like, not have your mother and have
your grumpy dad.
Yeah, your grumpy dad. That's also that line where she's going up to her mother's big beautiful portrait and they're kind of setting up her backstory, where we get like one of those first bits of dialogue that we still use today where she goes, "Isn't my mum a total Betty?"
Yeah.
And did you notice later on where she goes, "Why is Ty hanging out with those Barneys?" So that's a Flintstone reference. You know, like the OG Flintstones cartoon, how you had Betty and Barney Rubble. And so the idea was that Betty was this beautiful bombshell and Barney was kind of like a nothing guy. So you call a hot girl a
He was
Betty.
no Fred.
Yeah, exactly. Fred was hot. We all know it. Cartoon Fred, not movie Fred. And I feel like that's a thing that people still say, Betty and Barney, and you instantly know what they're talking about.
Immediately.
So important. And also, I actually thought by the time I was an adult, I would have a computer that would pick out my outfits. I know there's apps that do it for you now.
Technology has really done us an injustice since Clueless.
I know.
Like, I genuinely thought I'd have my little Mac desktop and I'd have all the time in the world in the morning to go up to it, let it load, let it overheat, and then get it to either like pick my outfit or randomize.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it was just so like I can't even explain to you what it felt like watching that on my laptop as a teenager.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, this is what the cool girls do.
And I was like, that will be me one day. Yeah. Still waiting. Anyway, so then we kind of get to the high school, and this is, I think, so important because so many other movies have borrowed from this scene, which is the kind of the flip around introducing like the stoners and this and that. Yeah. And like obviously they do it really famously in Mean Girls, but it's such this quick way to really set the tone of the school hierarchy and where Cher and Dion sit in it.
I think that first initial scene is the one that everyone's memorized, of them both walking into the school in those outfits. My God.
There's something like over 100 different types of plaid used in the movie, and most of them for Cher. And also a moment for Dion and the hat. And they come and also I love in the drive to school. First of all, she shouldn't be in that car. She's only got a permit. Second of all, she smashes into a pot plant.
This is what made me really confused about like the driving legalities in the US.
I think maybe she's technically allowed to drive with the permit. I don't know, guys. Semantics, we're not. You know what I can safely say is that she shouldn't be knocking over things and she shouldn't be running stop signs. But that's also one of the most quotable parts of the movie. Whenever I've had any little mishap, I still say that came out of nowhere. Or when she's like, when Dion goes, "Hello, that was a stop sign." What? I totally paused.
I totally paused.
So with the outfits, because it is such a shaping part of the movie. So the costumes were designed by Mona May, who is brilliant, an absolute incredible costume designer. I think we owe so much of what we see on screen and the most iconic outfits in cinema to her because she also did the costume design for Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. Yeah,
and she says that like Romy and Michelle was kind of like a continuation of Clueless, which I absolutely love, because once she said that quote, I saw it immediately. I was like, yes, this is it. But I'm obsessed with the skirt and the jacket that Cher and Dion wear when they walk into school, because I feel like that's the costume that always gets picked for Halloween. Yeah. It's a costume that always gets picked for like dress up parties over any other outfit in the movie. And that scene scene of them just walking in and finding out that Mona struggled really hard to find the perfect color because she's like, yellow can be like sunshine, but it can also be jaundice, and you have to get it completely right. And they tried her in blue and they tried her in red, and the yellow was the one that stood out completely.
The yellow works. So, you know what I so love is that Alicia Silverstone has that outfit.
She has it.
And she pulls it out in commercials. She pulls it out
and for TikToks.
For TikTok. She did it on that lip sync battle. She recently, in honor of the 30th anniversary, recreated that ooh as is
with her son.
With her teenage son. Bear. Now look, that woman has got a lot of flack over the years, and some of it fair. I'm just going to say, love her to death. She peddles some dangerous health information, but she got raked over the coals when she revealed that she used to feed Bear from her mouth, just the bird feeding thing, because she's kind of like a very kind of health conscious granola mum. And I was like, can Cher Horowitz just live? I know.
I have a confession.
Oh my God, what? Your mum fed you from her mouth?
Okay, so you know how like my background's Indian?
Yeah.
So you obviously can't give your children like straight up chili curries when they're born. So what my mum used to do was she would take like the bits of meat, suck out all the spice, and then give me the like sloppy chicken from her mouth.
You and Bear Silverstone, notice your name.
We're the same person. So I'm like, leave her alone just because she says it out loud. Like, mums do whatever it takes to get their kids to eat. Yeah. I'm just telling you that right now.
Exactly. I love us. We're defending Alicia Silverstone's parenting. I was like, not on my watch. Then she's like, maybe don't get vaccinated. I'm like, I can't follow you there.
Backtrack.
I can't follow you there, but the rest of the stuff, I'm on board with you. Anyway, so that's neither here nor there. And then, yes, we have the introduction of Ty coming to school as the loser transfer girl.
Yeah.
And Brittany Murphy's wearing like a graphic t-shirt. They put like just a red, almost like a gel through her hair so they could like wash it out later. And Dion and Cher take her on as a little charity project, which Dion's not on board with, and I understand.
Yeah, Dion is like the crowd favorite. She's like acting as us, the audience, going, what's going on? But what Cher and Dion did to Ty is what the movie She's All That was trying to achieve.
Oh, really? Wow. Explain your hypothesis.
Clueless was the first true makeover transformation that I actually believed.
Yes.
Like Ty, we were introduced to her and I was like, oh yeah, this is like a geeky kid. Like, what can they do to make her like the beautiful popular girl in that like stereotypical way? And they did it. Yeah. And she was beautiful and stereotypical and popular. And I was like, and I see it.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like a beautiful girl in disguise, even though Brittany Murphy's is absolutely stunning. But they really made you believe that, yes, she was a geeky girl and like there's nothing you can do to change that.
Yeah. That is so true, because you kind of also
it's not like She's All That where she was just wearing glasses and she was beautiful.
Which I love when they parodied that, not another teen movie. They just take off her glasses like, and we're done.
And we're done. Claps for us.
I know, they had the iconic. It's such an iconic makeover scene, where they wash the hair dye out and like do her makeup and hair, and they start even doing like body exercises and stuff. And I'm a Supermodel plays such an iconic song, and you really see it. It's also kind of interesting in a way that like. It kind of flips throughout the movie, because Cher is meant to be kind of like the guiding light for Ty, who's the fish out of water. But Ty, I think it's like goes to show like how none of these characters like cookie cutter, because Ty is actually the more worldly one in a way.
Yeah.
Like there's so many references I didn't get as a kid when they're talking about things and like Coke, and she's like, no shit, you guys got Coke here? She's like, yeah, this is America. And I'm like, as an adult, my gosh, I wasn't talking about Coca-Cola. But also when she's so shocked that Cher's a virgin, which is another thing, because
you can't drive.
Yeah. Which is an insult that comes up later. But when they have that first thing, no shit, Cher, you're a virgin? And she was like, you know how picky I am at my shoes and they only go on my feet. I'm like, so true.
It's true.
But also it's kind of interesting because usually the popular girl in that kind of movie of the 90s would be seen as like the over-sexualized, and being a virgin would be like,
pining after all the boys.
Yeah.
And immediately you know that she's not standing for any like teenage boy. Like she's like, ew, high school boys, gross.
Yeah,
and I'm like, wait, high school boys are gross.
Yeah. And
why am I trying to make them fall in love with me? I don't want that.
And then she was just like, I think I'm just going to wait because I think I'm better than this. And you're like, actually, like this is such an important high school movie where she was
feminist icon Cher.
She's a freaking feminist icon, because saying like, like we're so picky about our shoes, we should be also picky about the people we have sex with. And it's like she's talking the truth. Also when Dion's like, my man is satisfied, but technically I'm a virgin. Again, Me as a 5-year-old being like,
I was like, satisfied.
I
Got
was
it.
like, these girls are my people.
We're on the same
Literally.
level.
So much that I know about like sex and drugs and stuff, I'm just realizing came from Clueless. Like these
Yeah.
women raised me.
And I only found that on my second watch when I was about 18. When I was 13, I was just like, this is cool. And then on my second watch, I was like, oh shit, this is cool.
It's all coming full circle though. And then we see Ty start to evolve to become the popular girl. I also love that first time that she's trying to teach her how to speak properly. And she's like, you could say something like sporadically. And the first time she introduces her to Josh, he's like, I'll be seeing you. And she's like, yeah, I hope not sporadically. It's like changing all her changing her, not just who she is, but how she speaks, how she thinks, which evolves to not a good place as the movie goes along.
Yeah, it does not evolve. She becomes really, really mean. But you can tell at her core, she still has like those deep, like original needs, like how she always just pining after Travis.
Yeah.
And no matter who like Cher tried to set her up with, she's like, no, like she originally just wanted Travis. And then she like had a crush on Josh, but then she realized she didn't actually like Josh.
Yeah.
Someone else liked Josh.
Yeah. I mean, oh my God, just a moment for Travis Breckenmeyer. I love that man. And it's also, I was watching him do some interviews lately and he's like obviously looks a lot older now, but he still has that Breckenmeyer smile that I grew up with.
It's very skater boy.
Yeah. He did his own stunts, important to say in the movie.
Rode a skateboard.
But also he said that he was a lot older than Brittany Murphy. Well, a couple of years older because she was the youngest by a bit. And he was saying that he just saw her as a little sister and he loved her so much. And that's why in that final scene, when a lot of different couples are kissing, he leans over and kisses her on the forehead. And he was supposed to kiss her on the lips. That was in the script. And on the day he was like, I'm not kissing my little sister on the lips. Sorry, not happening.
God. He's like, I know how much you like incest.
Yeah, he's like, I know this is
Incest,
technically
Amy.
an incest movie, but I will not be partaking in the incest. He took a stand against incest.
He took a stand against incest. I have to talk about my favorite scene.
Oh, what's your favorite scene?
It's not my favorite scene, but it's the scene.
I mean, obviously every scene's our favorite scene. So yeah, what's the one you're talking about
sticks out the most to me. It is when Cher and Elton are at the DMV in like the dark.
Yeah.
And it's nighttime. And then she rejects him. So he leaves her there. And it's like up until then, you're still seeing all this like positivity around her, right? Like so many things are going wrong for her. Like she's failing her driving test. It's not happening. Like her friends are kind of being weird with her. And she's still so happy and positive and channeling energy. And she gets mugged. And it's like the most low stakes mugging I've ever seen, to the point where she gets up and she's not even like super, super rattled. She just like walks over to the payphone and calls Josh to get her to pick up. And she's like, I got totally mugged.
I know. So good. Everything with the Elton character, again, pulled from Emma. I think in the book it's like Emma's doing a painting and afterwards she's like, but you wanted the portrait of her. And she's like, he's like, the portrait you painted. And then in this she's like, but you have a photo of Ty hanging in your locker, the photo you took. So basically assaults her, like that's right, in the car. And then I love that scene of Josh coming to pick her up. Fun fact, I think you know this, Paul Rudd was mugged like the day before.
I do know
Can
this.
Paul Rudd get a break? First of all,
Paul Rudd is Cher. Amy
He's
wrote
a real
it
life
around
Cher.
Paul Rudd. Amy was just following. It's a Paul Rudd biopic.
Yeah, it's just everything.
Clueless.
Yeah, Paul Rudd, he really had a rough time in this movie. He's trying to make him
I'm
Hollywood.
so glad he got Ant-Man.
Yeah.
It's
Do you
silver
know
lining.
the same person who filmed Clueless filled Ant-Man Quantumania.
They're so scared of Paul Rudd. They're like, we can't leave him alone. We have to follow him throughout.
We have to like look after him. So yeah, Paul Rudd shaved his head. He looks ridiculous. He's wearing the weird cap. That's how he really dances. You know, in the scene they take him to the nightclub and they're like, he's talking to the bouncer and then he's doing the shoulder dance.
That's how he really
dances.
He's such a dag. I love him.
Dag. He's such a dag. And yeah, so like,
and he also looks the exact same.
It's wild.
Yeah, it doesn't age.
It's that same
man needs to
cinematographer doing the Lord's work.
They just follow. He needs to be studied.
So a few days before they filmed that scene, Paul Rudd was mugged and his backpack was taken, and in the backpack was the script for Clueless. Can I just say that
Paul,
mugger?
why don't you remember any of your lines? I was robbed. Don't you remember? The one scene he's able to nail is the mugging scene because he knew exactly how it happened.
He's like, that was me a few days ago, and I also didn't want to lie down in my outfit. I'm just saying that mugger didn't know the goal they possessed of having the
Yes.
unreleased Clueless
Mhm.
script in Paul Rudd's stolen backpack. So he had a hard time, so that was rough for him, but he pulled it together to film the scene. I do love that scene where he comes to pick up Cher because he's got his college kind of hookup in the car. And that's when we get that
Yeah.
moment where you see that Cher is like, it's almost like a line through to Legally Blonde. It's like you're really smart in a different way. That's not just like remembering a textbook or something, because it's like that whole thing of Elle Woods having a bit of street smarts and knowing how long a perm takes to set.
Yeah.
That makes her the winner. And Cher has a very similar thing where the girl in the car is nondescript college girl is how I think of her. Anyway, nondescript villain college girl is in the car with Josh, and she's obviously like one of those very snooty, pretentious kind of college girls. And
Who's like trying to take the piss out of Cher,
and
essentially.
she's been like to Cher, like obviously like clocked her as being like a blonde
Yeah.
bimbo.
I'm like, this girl just got mugged. Give her a break.
She
Jesus.
just got sexually assaulted and mugged, and then she's like, you look dumb, so I'm gonna roast you. And then they have that really iconic moment where she quotes Hamlet, and Cher sees her moment and was like, that's not what he said. And she's like, I think I remember Hamlet accurately. And then you see Cher just be like in her eyes, like, I've got her. And be like, well, I think I remember Mel Gibson accurately. And he didn't say that. That Polonius guy did. And that's the end of Josh's date.
So good. And that's the minute you see, oh, there's going to be something with Cher and Josh.
Yeah. So there's a few different dynamics in the story where things are interesting. And it's mostly really that whole thing with Cher and Josh and Ty that is like the pivotal love story once she realized Christian is gay. I fucking love that character. I also, as a kid, I didn't understand that. He is modeled off Frank Sinatra.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he is.
Yeah, he just kind of comes into the room and does the
Yes.
spin and like kind of like the flip of the suit jacket and like the way he walked. Yeah. Everything
Oh
about.
my God.
Yeah, so that's his character is meant to be like a Frank Sinatra transplant.
Yeah, and how he was like talking to Josh a lot at the house.
Yeah.
And she was like, come on, let's go.
Yeah. Oh my God, love it. That is the best. Oh, the scene where they go onto the highway where she finds out Josh is gay, but also that is just also a shout out to Donald Faison as Murray because
He is so good.
a breakout
And
thing.
like his character after that, like in Scrubs, like I just feel like he just made it, like his whole career. He's just so funny. But that highway scene where they're just like screaming and screeching like down the highway and all the cars are just beeping at them.
So good. Yeah. I mean, again, everything in this movie relates to real life. Like I feel like everything has happened to this movie is somehow you either use the lingo or relates to it. Because that was me the first time I arrived in Sydney. I got lost in my car. I've been driving all night to get from Brisbane to Sydney. I arrived in Sydney. I accidentally got onto the Harbour Bridge. And me going over the Harbour Bridge is Dion going on the highway.
Oh my God.
I was screaming in my car. But that's also where we find out that Christian's a cake boy. He's a friend of Dorothy. Again, as a kid. I know, I wish I had 3 hours because I just want to do like a whole podcast on
I wish
every
we
character.
could like do like I feel like we should pitch to Mamma Mia
Yeah.
a brutally honest review, but it's like us actually watching it and then pausing it and then
Yes!
doing it.
And it's a 5-hour podcast.
Yeah, I'd love that.
I feel like, I'm just saying.
I feel like they'd be on board.
Yeah.
If we spend a whole day and a half doing this.
Yeah, 100%. The views will be there. Yeah, I feel like, so as Ty, we kind of see that she kind of lets this popular new level that she's in go to her head. It's kind of interesting. It's that classic story of it's almost like a Frankenstein story of your own creation becomes too powerful and turns against you.
It is like a Frankenstein story.
Or like you try and like, or like a My Fair Lady or even like Ex Machina or something where or Splice or something like it's very sci-fi-esque in a way storytelling of you create this being to be this idolized thing and then they become too powerful and then they overthrow you to an extent. And so it's when Cher realizes that Ty has feelings for Josh that really sets her off, which leads to the iconic line,
You're a virgin who can't drive.
the ultimate burn.
And I think also that's where you first see Cher like suddenly get pulled out of her positivity, like her positive butterflies and rainbows like facade that she's had on, because then she just immediately, her face drops and she was like, way harsh, Ty.
Yeah, that was way harsh, Ty. And like, tears are pooling in her eyes.
And like
so
my
she
heart dropped. I was like, you're meant to be like the fun, happy girl, and now you're sad girl.
I think that's the beauty of this movie not being like a kind of, it could have just been like a frivolous like high school story, but it's got so much heart behind it because you just see like you see like how broken Cher is at that of having her friends say that to her. As a fun fact too, Brittany Murphy at the time was a virgin who couldn't drive. She never licensed and she hadn't had sex yet.
Aren't we all? If you think about it. That's me as a 29-year-old virgin who can't drive.
So yeah, she said at the time, Brittany Murphy was like, as I was saying it, she was like, oh, this is me. And it's meant to be the worst thing you can say to someone.
She's also like 17 at the time. So these defining moments in her like childhood are like literally going to live with her for the rest of her life. And she's like, is this really the best insult we can give her? And they're like, yeah, it's the worst thing that can ever happen to something.
That could happen.
And she's like, really? And they're like, yeah, say it. It's like literally the worst thing you could say to a woman. And
exactly.
She's like, okay.
Just the worst. And then she's like, anyway, I'm outie, which is a word that still gets used. Outie. So as we go along, then we have that moment to the build up at the end where you see Cher like, she's got her inner monologue going and she's walking through the streets of Beverly Hills and she stops to buy an outfit, which is important. And then she was like, Josh, why does she want him? He's just a slug who lies around the house all day and he can't dance. And then it cuts that scene of Paul Rudd in the car and she's like, he's kind of a Baldwin, which weird to think that that's an Alec Baldwin, Stephen Baldwin, Adam Baldwin. Like, because the Baldwin brothers were the hot things of Hollywood at the time.
So like, what were they doing though?
When they were actors.
Oh.
Like the Baldwin brothers were hot, a sea of hot actors.
Right.
I know you look at Alec Baldwin and Stephen Baldwin, Adam Baldwin now and think that, but like this is 30 years ago.
No, because when I see them, all I think of is like SNL. You know what I mean? Like I miss that whole like era of them.
So when you say someone's kind of a Baldwin, it's the opposite of a Barney. A Barney Rubble is a ugly looking guy. And in the Clueless universe, a Baldwin is a super hot guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is like great claim for them.
I know.
Holy crap. They've been running that high for the rest of their life.
I know. So sometimes when I look at Ilaria Baldwin, I actually think, did she just watch Clueless?
Yeah.
Was her whole pretending to be Spanish?
I can't believe Hailey changed her last name.
I know. I can't believe she took Bieber over Baldwin.
That's such a claim to fame.
I was like, Baldwin's in Clueless. It's so much better. Anyway, so she's walking through the streets and then she's like, oh, he's kind of a Baldwin. And then she's all of a sudden, and this is one of the most iconic shots in cinema, where Cher's walking along and then she goes, oh my God, I love Josh. And the fountain lights up behind her.
It's
and
so
can I tell you,
good.
I've been to that fountain. It was my first stop the first time I went to LA.
Oh my God, we have to find those photos
it's
and
in
post
Beverly
them.
Hills.
Laura, Cher.
Me, I throw myself into the fountain crying. I'm home.
It's like, I love Josh too.
I love Josh too. It's so, it is really cute of how she has that moment of she loves Josh.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm completely in love with Josh. But then we don't have that kind of quick payoff because then we have that awkward kind of build up into their first kiss.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. The first kiss.
Yeah.
Like, I was like watching this as a teenager. I was literally, the minute she says, I love Josh, I thought I'd have like this big moment going, yes, you do, you do. But as a teenager, I was like, do you?
Well, that's the thing. It's actually quite the incredible plot twist because it's so perfectly done. It's like such a slow burn. And again, he's like this annoying guy who thinks that she is kind of, the thing is, he never actually thinks she's dumb, which I think to his credit, they kind of do build up their relationship in a really interesting way. It's such a slow burn. It's such a slow build. It's so carefully peppered throughout the script that in that moment where she has that realization of I love Josh and the fountain lines up, you as the viewer are perfectly synced to have that realization with her. And that is nearly impossible in a movie to do.
Yeah.
To have the character and the audience realize something so perfectly at the same time.
Yeah, you're so right.
Amy Heckerling is working on levels we can't even understand.
And I think also by having that storyline of they are like ex-step siblings, it's always as a caveat of like, oh, that will never be a romantic thing. So you're always in the back of your head saying, no, this is not actually happening.
They're brother and sister, even though they're really not. It's fine.
Really
I think it's fine.
Step siblings.
Yeah, and not even step siblings that even live together that long.
Yeah, no.
So it's
he just does like the accounts.
Yeah. So then we have the thing where they're like having a little flirt at the table. Cher accidentally marks the wrong calls in the files. A lawyer her father's associate yells at her,
Yeah,
which I
what
feel
the
like
hell?
hopefully that guy got fired the next day.
Yeah, know your place.
Yeah, know your place,
Freak.
sir. The real villain of this movie. The paralegal.
The paralegal at the table.
At the dad's dinner table. So then we have just a beautifully framed shot of Josh and Cher on that beautiful curved staircase, and you have that build up where he's talking to her and trying to make her feel better. And it's that moment too where it's like you kind of do believe they're going to be together forever because he's not just in love with her because she thinks she's pretty. He's like in love with who she is in that moment, and that's what she realizes. And I'm going to say that kiss where she's like, you think I'm beautiful? And he's like, you know, you're gorgeous. Could you ever care about me? Kind of thing. And then that kiss, top it's top 5 Hollywood kisses for me. He like the way he leans right over, grabs her and pulls her hair like gently, and like how they have that passionate kiss.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's really
it's
hot.
So hot. Watching this like over and over again as a teenager is just like
it
the
is
best.
The ultimate movie kiss. Like the chemistry is off the charts. And it's so funny. That clip is like, I'm sure you can guess what happened next, and it cuts to a wedding.
Yeah. The teacher's wedding.
Yeah.
That she put together.
Yeah. Again, I wish we could have talked about the teachers, because also Wallace Shawn, who plays Mr. Hall.
Yes, so good.
I know. It's so funny because he's such a renowned, critically acclaimed actor and writer and stage actor, and he's like, people just come up to me all the time being like, I loved you in Clueless and The Princess Bride.
Oh my
and he's
God.
always like, thank you.
I was like, I love you in Gossip Girl. It was so great.
He's great at that too.
But like, a big plot point that we didn't get to cover much was like Cher's like big thing is like she's a really good matchmaker.
Yeah.
And she was doing really bad in school, so she put her teachers together to kind of like convince them to give her better grades, which is also what her dad is really proud of her for being able to like talk her way into better grades. But they actually did fall in love, and they had the wedding at the end scene.
Yeah, and then they get married at the end. And again, also Wallace.
And is she like a bridesmaid?
Yeah, she's a bridesmaid. For her teachers. Again, well, she got them together. And again, so much of Wallace Shawn, he has so much good dialogue as Mr. Hall in this. And he's also the one who facilitates one of the most iconic scenes, which we don't really have time on to touch, where they have the debate.
Yes.
Where she accidentally says Cher in her speech before she delivers the iconic, it does not say RSVP on the Statue of Liberty. Where she accidentally says Haitians. And Alicia Silverstone didn't know how to pronounce that well, which is fine. She was a young girl at the time. She didn't know. And so she said that, and everyone went to jump in and correct her, and Amy Heckerling is like, don't do it. Don't no one say anything to her. We're keeping it in the movie.
So good.
Because she's like, Cher would probably say that word wrong too.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cute.
So we cut to the wedding, which is funny because that's how the studio wanted the movie to end. They actually wanted them. It's like, first of all, they were like, oh, we can't have incest. And then they're like, but if we do keep the step-sibling incest, or what if they get married? And Amy Heckerling was like, no. And that's why there's that thing of as if.
Yeah.
I'm only 17. This is not Kentucky. So then we have the wedding scene. So they could have the wedding that people wanted. It just wouldn't be Cher and Josh's wedding, because that's crazy. Yeah. So we have Miss Geist. And I should say that actress is called Twink Kaplan.
Oh.
Her name is Twink. She's really good friends with Amy Heckerling. She was also a producer on the movie, and they've done many movies together since. So they're two besties. The wedding dress she's wearing is so kind of opulently created, and the bodice is so tight that she couldn't sit down the whole day of filming. They had to get one of those old-fashioned standing boards for her that like ladies back in the day would have, so she could lean.
Oh my God. So just like pretty much every bride.
Yeah. You're like, so every bride who's ever gotten married.
Yeah, that's why you never, if you really think about it, have you ever seen a bride sit down?
Oh, no, never.
No.
Not in all my days have I seen a bride sit down.
Always standing.
And so there's also some cute, so this is actually the last day of filming. So if you kind of look around as they pan the camera around, a lot of people look quite sad. And the boys, so Breckenmeyer, Donald Faison, and Paul Rudd, who
the hotties.
The three hotties, get a giggle fit, and so they couldn't finish filming. So there's that thing where Murray goes, I'm bugging, and Josh goes, I'm bugging myself. So that wasn't
totally bugging.
That wasn't the script. That was just Paul Rudd kind of just talking.
That's so funny.
Trying to be cool with the kids. Even though he was a kid too, but he had dad energy.
Paul Rudd's just always 50 in my head.
He's 50 forever. 50-year-old with the face of a 20-year-old. And so you can see in the movie that they all just start cracking up laughing. And that's what really happened. And they kept saying, like, we've got to get the shot, guys. Like, that wasn't the dialogue. We've got to get the shot. And then after all, Amy's like, just let them go. Like,
that's
it's
so
fine.
funny.
And so they filmed that. The sun went down and it was over.
Nice.
So,
but you do kind of get I think this is probably for the production where you get an allude to Cher and Josh getting married, because like the bouquet gets tossed and Cher catches it and Josh kisses her, and I think that was like a little tick box for them.
Yeah, exactly. You get
like, we made you happy there. They will get married eventually, maybe.
They will, and I feel like they did.
They did? You think so?
I feel like they did get married.
Oh my God.
I'm so glad we never saw that. I know people get
Well, there was
all
Clueless, the TV show after that they weren't in.
I know some people loved the Clueless TV show. I personally didn't. I find it interesting that pretty much the whole cast except Alicia Silverstone went into the TV show. But that's if that's what you loved, that's fine. But it wasn't for me. And I feel like they're getting so pressured to make Clueless 2. And I I feel we're in this dangerous time now of reboots where that could actually happen. And I really hope they don't. It's such a perfect movie. Let it be where it is.
So many of them aren't even in the industry anymore.
Yeah. Well, I know Stacey Dash, who plays Dion, who is incredible in the movie. She was also the only one who wasn't, like, what was she, 27 with a 6-year-old child? But she was just so good. They cast her.
And isn't she like a politician?
Yeah,
like
she's
a conservative
Yeah, she's
politician?
wildly problematic. But this is what I mean. We just can't, sometimes we have to just leave that
just leave stuff in the past.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But Clueless.
Such a good movie.
30 years on and still a perfect movie.
Everyone needs to go rewatch it. As we mentioned before in the beginning, obviously spoilers in this episode.
But we're spoilers.
Wait, surely you've watched Clueless by now. You've had 30 years to watch it.
For the first time ever, we didn't say spoilers at the top.
We're just like, you've had 30 years.
Yeah.
So that's on you.
I don't think I've ever met someone who hasn't watched Clueless.
No.
I honestly don't think I have.
I haven't either. We'll have to find them and then
I don't
sit them down and
teach
them a lesson. We'll play our brutally honest review first and then they can watch it after.
So I don't want anyone in my life who hasn't watched Clueless. That's a deal breaker. It's Seth Rogen's favorite movie.
Oh.
Yeah, that's so
that
important.
makes sense.
Yeah. So that is our brutally honest review of Clueless. 30 years late, but
we've done it.